I am Adrian Sterling's most treasured little snake. As I was lounging contentedly on his chiseled abs, a series of pop-up comments suddenly materialized before my eyes. Finally, the leads are about to meet. Come on, moody Adrian, fall hard for her. Here it comes. The heroine freaks out when she sees a snake. He smirks and says that line. Is that all it takes to scare you? But pity the snake princess. To win her back, Adrian eventually throws the poor thing into the fighting arena, where the second male lead snake devours her.
Excuse me, what?
I tilted my head up. Sure enough, Adrian and a wide-eyed girl were staring at each other exactly as the mysterious messages predicted. That was all I needed to know. Clearly, my days here were numbered. I had to get out. The bag in the girl's hand slipped to the ground with a sharp thud. Her face went pale, terror written all over it. Adrian calmly plucked me from his stomach and dropped me into my chilly glass home, tossing in a baby mouse as if it were a treat. Tying the sash of his silk robe, he said lazily, "So, that's all it takes to scare you?"
He didn't stop there.
His voice grew colder. "Your only job is to take care of the mice and feed the snake the way she requires. If you can't manage that, leave." The girl, Sophia, blinked back tears, her beauty magnified by her helplessness. "No, Mr. Sterling, I can handle it. I'll do it." Inside, I screamed, "Handle it?" She couldn't even handle herself. And me? I was nothing more than a spoiled parasite of a snake, picky about food, lazy by nature, living only to curl elegantly around Adrian's wrist. My meals had to be live baby mice, and as snacks, only the soft worms inside fresh fruit. In short, I was a nuisance. Sending me to a fighting pit would be no different from sending me to my grave. Wasn't she hired only because Adrian was too busy to raise the mice for me himself? Why did he have to pick someone who looked like death's messenger? Suddenly, the mouse in front of me didn't seem appetizing at all.
Fine, Adrian said.
Her feeding instructions are written down in the snake house. Just follow them. But every 6 days, you must bring me a live baby mouse. 5 grams, no more, no less. I feed her that one myself. He pointed straight at me. "Yes, Mr. Sterling," Sophia whispered. And that was that. He had made his choice. Panic made me dart frantically across the terrarium. Adrian noticed. His voice softened with that rare tenderness he reserved only for me. "What's wrong, not eating again? Should I switch to peach worms for you?" His long fingers slipped inside, brushing against my scales. Rage swelled in me at the thought that this same hand might one day throw me into a death match. On impulse, I struck, sinking my fangs into him. Instead of anger, Adrian just laughed. "What's this? Trying to eat me now? You ungrateful little thing, my dear Lyra." Ungrateful? He was the one abandoning me for a pretty face. Adrian still spoiled me anyway. For the next week, Sophia barely saw him, aside from dropping off my food. I began to think maybe those strange messages had been wrong. But then another line flashed across my vision. It begins. Today the hero meets the rival male lead, and the heroine is there too, working at a bar. The love triangle kicks off. A bar? Since when did Sophia juggle so many jobs? Before I could even process it, Adrian was already grabbing his keys, ready to leave. I thrashed in my warm terrarium, desperate to stop him. He glanced back. "Lyra, what's gotten into you?" I flicked my tongue, pacing back and forth. "You want to come with me?" He shook his head.
"No.
It's too crowded, too dangerous." I tightened into a dramatic coil, sulking. Adrian sighed. "You usually hate strangers. Why are you so insistent now?" "Fine. Don't say I didn't warn you if you get scared." He opened the glass lid. Overjoyed, I slithered onto his wrist, licking his skin as if in thanks. Adrian smirked. "So, happy just to go out with me, HM? You're even giving me kisses now." The bar was loud and suffocating. I shrank against him nervously. Adrian chuckled. "Scared already? And you were the one begging to come." He laughed at me. Furious, I hissed and bit the back of his hand again. Adrian tapped my head lightly. "You little princess. The moment you're upset, you bite me. Who else in the world would dare treat me like this?" I turned my head away proudly. I didn't care. "Adrian, is your hand all right?" John asked. He was an acquaintance from the underground snake matches, supposedly a friend, but tonight he was also the guy bringing in a monster python that could very well belong to my future rival. The sight of it made my scales prickle. Terrified, I burrowed into Adrian's collar, hiding against the warmth of his neck. "It's fine," Just a little love bite for my princess, Adrian replied, though his eyes narrowed on John. Cover that beast up. You're frightening her. John pulled a cloth over the cage with a laugh. What made you bring your darling out today? The darling insisted, Adrian said, as if that explained everything. John's gaze lingered on me. She really is stunning. No wonder you spoil her so much. How about making her the prize in our next wager? Adrian's expression darkened instantly. Dream on. Before I could even hiss an agreement, those floating comments popped up again. Here comes the scene. Heroine drops the drinks in fright. Hero coldly asks, "Why are you juggling so many jobs?" Second male lead to the rescue. He pays the bill and earns her gratitude. And the triangle officially begins. My head whipped toward the door. Sure enough, there was Sophia with a tray of drinks. The moment our eyes met, glass shattered against the floor. So, the comments really were predicting the future. My vision swam.
Panic overwhelmed me.
My body went limp, dangling helplessly from Adrian's wrist. Lyra. What's wrong? Lyra. He caught me in both hands, alarm in his voice. Without even looking toward the mess at the door, he snapped, "What is the meaning of this? If you can't even carry a tray properly, why are you working here?" Sophia stood frozen, teary-eyed and pitiful at the entrance. No, no, no. I couldn't let the plot unfold. Thinking fast, I wriggled away and darted straight for John. It worked. Adrian's eyes followed me, furious and worried at once. I slipped into John's jacket, poking my head out to hiss twice at Adrian. "This little lady is feisty," John chuckled, scratching gently under my chin. Adrian's face clouded, his voice heavy with hurt. "Lyra, really? Running off to him? Do you have no heart? Don't call her Lyra Sterling anymore. Call her Lyra Stone," John teased, stroking me affectionately. I leaned into his hand, playing along, my head rubbing against his palm. Success. No one cared about Sophia anymore. Or so I thought. Adrian's jealousy flared. He yanked me back into his arms, muttering, "You heartless little thing." And yet, his gaze slid right past me toward the doorway. He recited the very line from the comments, cold and sharp. "Why are you working so many jobs? If this affects your work at my snake house, you're fired." Sophia trembled, her eyes brimming. "It won't, Mr. Sterling. I swear it won't." John stepped in smoothly.
Hey, it's fine.
"I'll cover the drinks." After Sophia retreated, John smirked. "Adrian, why not hire me to take care of her instead? I'm an expert. I'll keep her looking radiant." Adrian shot him a glare that could kill. Get lost. No matter what I did, the plot was still dragging us all along. That night, I made my decision. I was going to run away. To avoid being shut back in the glass box, I glued myself to Adrian like a needy child. Every time he set me down, I slithered back onto his hand, tail twitching stubbornly. "Lyra, what's gotten into you? You're never this clingy. Usually, I have to beg you to come out." But I refused to let go. He sighed in defeat and carried me to bed.
Fine, you win.
"But the terrarium really is safer for you." I flicked my tongue in my best impression of cuteness. Adrian chuckled helplessly. All right, but if you feel unwell, you'd better wake me." Soon, he drifted off. By moonlight, I studied the room. The windows were locked tight, the door bolted, but there was a slim crack at the bottom. My only escape route. Goodbye, Adrian. You were kind in your way, but I wasn't going to let fate throw me into some snake gladiator ring. I slithered toward freedom, pausing only once to look back at him. Halfway out the door, suddenly it swung open. A hand gripped the back of my neck, lifting me effortlessly. Adrian's face loomed, his gaze dark and unreadable. "I knew something was strange with you tonight. So clingy. Only because you were planning to run away." My tongue flicked guiltily. "You little liar," he murmured. "I take you out once, and now you're addicted to the outside world? Cute won't save you this time. Punishment. You're back in the terrarium." And with that, my escape was over. My freedom was officially revoked. From now on, unless Adrian had his eyes on me, I was sentenced to solitary confinement in the glass box. I staged a protest. Belly up, motionless, playing dead. Adrian, meanwhile, was busy slicing peaches at the table. "Don't be difficult. This is your punishment for misbehaving. Got it?" He had already carved through a mountain of peaches searching for one with a worm inside. Truthfully, he wasn't having bad luck. I was on a hunger strike and he felt guilty enough to go all out, trying to tempt me with my favorite snack. Here we are. Be good, eat. He dropped a wriggly little worm into the terrarium and turned back to his fruit surgery. My stomach growled, but I held my ground. A snake must have pried. Adrian chuckled softly. Come on, princess, I'm begging you. Please eat. I stayed stoic, though inside I was wavering. Finally, he leaned close, offering me his hand. All right. You can bite me as a truce. I'm sorry, Lyra. I shouldn't have locked you up. That was a genuine apology. I accepted, giving his hand the gentlest nip before finally caving in and devouring the worm. Once full, I sprawled on my back in a blissful food coma, letting him stroke my scales.
But the peace didn't last. The doorbell rang. John.
Of course. He had come flaunting another new snake. Adrian slipped me into his pocket before leading him toward the snake room. And there was Sophia too.
Perfect.
The comments lit up again. Second male lead is clearly here for the heroine. He'll be inviting her to work at his place soon. That means the snake battle arc is about to begin. Poor Lyra. Honestly, if the hero ends up with the heroine, it's only fair the rival gets the snake.
Wait.
That last part didn't sound so bad. If I became John's snake, wouldn't that guarantee I wouldn't be fed to his python? Brilliant. So, as stealthily as possible, I slithered out from Adrian's pocket and launched myself into John's arms. Lyra? John nearly dropped me, then laughed in surprise. Adrian's expression turned to thunder. His hand shot out to reclaim me. I dodged, winding myself snugly around John's wrist and pressing my head against his chest like the picture of loyalty. Adrian froze mid-grab, his eyes blazing. Lyra, come back. John gave a nervous smile. Come on, princess. Better return to him. I refused, coiling tighter around him. Adrian's voice hardened, sharp as steel. Put her back. In the terrarium. John hesitated, then carefully unwrapped me, ignoring my thrashing. In the end, I was dropped unceremoniously back into my glass prison. Rage boiled in me. I slammed my tail against the glass again and again. Adrian's brows furrowed, his tone harsh. Lyra, what exactly are you trying to pull? He was raising his voice. At me. Furious. I hissed, tail lashing against the glass louder. So that's it? You want to leave me for him? Adrian's words came slow, deliberate, heavy with something I couldn't quite name. Finally, he exhaled sharply.
Fine.
I'll open the terrarium. If you still choose him, I'll let you go. Adrian stared at me, his gaze sharp as a laser. It felt like if I chose John, he might dramatically throw himself on a sword any second. But my life was important too. After a moment of hesitation, I still went toward John. John awkwardly tried to pull back his hand. Adrian's voice was stiff. John, don't move. Let her decide for herself. After a brief pause, I coiled around John's wrist. The pop-up comments went wild. I think the hero is about to break. This is the little snake he raised with his own 2 hands. Poor Adrian. The little princess is such an ungrateful snake. Lyra, you little drama queen, look at Adrian. I think he's dying inside. This isn't right. You said he was going to throw me into a fighting pit. I glanced at Adrian. His lips were pressed into a thin, tight line, and his breathing was heavy. Clearly, he had no intention of letting me go. I hardened my heart, flicked my tongue at John's hand, and snuggled up to him. That was the last straw. Adrian grabbed me, holding me tightly in his palm. I had never been handled so roughly. Naturally, I threw a tantrum, ramming my head against his hand, thrashing my tail wildly, and hissing at him multiple times. Lyra, are you hissing at me? Adrian asked in disbelief. He was silent for a long moment before putting me back in the terrarium. I'm not letting you go. You heartless little thing. I knew he wouldn't let me go easily. I bared my fangs from inside my glass prison, but he ignored me. With no other choice, I went on another hunger strike. This time, Adrian only gave me a cool glance. A dead mouse isn't as tasty, you know. The comments chimed in. Omo, has Lyra fallen out of favor? Well, what do you expect? She broke the hero's heart recently. He's been questioning his entire existence. I think it's because the hero has fallen for the heroine. He doesn't have time to spoil the little princess anymore. Of course, men's hearts were fickle. Adrian had fallen for Sophia. When had I, Lyra Sterling, ever been treated like this? The hunger strike was a must. But after just one day, I was dizzy. The baby mouse had gone stiff. I circled it a few times but couldn't bring myself to eat it. Forget it. I'd sleep. In dreams, I could have anything. When I woke, I was hungrier than before. I spotted a plate of fresh peaches nearby. The little worms inside were wriggling enticingly. Most importantly, Adrian had left the terrarium lid open. Surely, he wouldn't notice if I stole a few worms. Heaven never seals all exits for a clever snake. I slithered out and dove into the feast, full and content. Then an idea struck me: dual cultivation. Becoming human. Because I had been caught trying to escape last time, Adrian had sealed every door, window, and pipe joint. Even if I got out of the terrarium, I couldn't leave the house unless I became human. The problem: I couldn't cultivate a human form on my own. Fortunately, a rogue cultivator like me had options. By dual cultivating with a human, or absorbing some of their essence, I could accelerate the process. I crept onto the bed and slithered up Adrian's abs. He was sleeping peacefully, the lamplight tracing the sharp lines of his face. His lips red, tempting. I was being seduced by Adrian. Get a grip, Lyra. I nudged his lips. Nothing. Flicked my tongue again. Still nothing. Adrian whimpered softly, but didn't wake. He just smacked his lips a couple of times and went still again. I tried licking inside his lips this time, some saliva. Still nothing. Apparently, saliva alone wasn't enough. Time to go all in. The comments. Whoa, what did I just tune into? Dominant little Lyra forcing herself on him? This needs a mosaic. This human/non-human ship is spicy. I'm almost convinced. Is anyone else shipping the hero and his snake? Adrian slept on, completely unaware. I smugly returned to the terrarium. While he was at the office, I practiced manifesting human form at home. First try: human torso, snake tail. Second try: snake head, human body. Third try: human head, snake. This rogue cultivation was fast, but unstable. Maybe I hadn't practiced enough. There was another downside. I got hungry way too fast. A human habit, no doubt. I used to be fine with one meal every 6 days, but now I was starving every 6 hours. And, of course, Adrian didn't like stocking food at home. I rummaged through the fridge, but found nothing appealing. In the end, I gnawed on a few peaches. The sound of the lock turning. Adrian was back.
No time to get back to the bedroom.
I quickly reverted to snake form where I was. He had come for a file. He paused, noticing me on the floor. Running around again, Lyra? He scooped me up, eyes narrowing slightly at the peach pits on the table. I flicked my tongue guiltily. He didn't seem to care, just sat down browsing a food delivery app. Noodles, skip. Barbecue, skip. Burgers, skip. I was practically drooling, crawling over the table. An almost imperceptible smirk touched Adrian's lips. When the food arrived, he took a call and left, citing an emergency meeting.
Ah, well.
Looks like I won't get to eat this, he said, smiling strangely. Off to the office, Lyra. Don't run around, okay? Once he was gone, I quickly turned human and tore open the package. Fragrant, golden fried chicken, so much of it. Surely a few pieces wouldn't be noticed. I grabbed one, only to realize the flaw. In my snakehead, human body form, I couldn't eat. Devastated, I frantically tried to switch forms, failing repeatedly. I couldn't even manage the human torso, snake tail shape. All I could do was stare longingly at the chicken. The profound pain finally motivated me. Cultivating alone was impossible, so I focused on pestering Adrian. Adrian had been acting strangely lately. During the day, shirtless, abs and V-line on full display. At night, he went to bed early wearing very little, or just a bathrobe with nothing underneath. Convenient for me. A week later, I could maintain a full human form. I even snuck plenty of Adrian's new snacks. But he seemed exhausted. Dark circles under his eyes. Even John asked, Adrian feeling weak lately? Adrian said nothing, just kept adding goji berries to his tea. He also rarely locked me up anymore. Opportunities were plentiful. One dark, windy night, I snuck out of the bedroom. At the top of the stairs, I ran straight into Adrian, wrapped in a towel. Wasn't he just showering? Lyra, where are you going? I panicked. Thump, thump, thump. I tumbled down the stairs. Pain everywhere. No time to worry. I turned human and ran to the front door.
Locked.
Adrian rushed down. Lyra, please don't go. Please. His voice trembled. A drop of water fell from his hair like a teardrop. I was unmoved. I grabbed a cup, smashed the window, turned into a snake, and slipped away. I had nowhere to go. After thinking it over, I returned to my old mountain home. Mom quickly ushered me into the cave. "Did you get on someone's bad side?" she asked, completely bewildered. She explained that Adrian had posted a public reward online, $200,000 for me. Seriously? Did he want me dead that badly? Mom curled her tail around a bank card. "It's not safe at home anymore.
Hide for a while.
Your aunts and uncles are eager for the reward. This cash will keep you alive for a bit. And remember, don't shift back into your snake form. The picture he posted is of your snake form." She paused. "Have you cultivated a human form yet?" For once, I had confidence. I pouted. I have. Before she could say more, my second aunt slithered out of the cave to provide cover for me. "Has her daughter returned?" my aunt asked. "I heard the rumors. How about this? Let her go back to him. We split the money, and then she can just run off again. It's not like she hasn't done it before." My mom forced a small laugh.
She's not back.
For all we know, he's already caught her. They talked for a while longer before my aunt finally left. I was just about to sneak away when my third uncle appeared. Same subject again, and he even wanted to check inside the cave to see if my mom was lying. She shouted at him until he left. Relatives kept coming one after another. It wasn't until morning that I finally got the chance to slip out. My mom's eyes were wet with tears. "Stay safe, all right? I'm proud you managed to cultivate a human form. When this mess calms down, come home. Don't let anyone push you around anymore." I nodded and turned to leave. I didn't have the heart to admit that I had become a rogue cultivator. My mom had always forbidden me from being with anyone outside our own kind. She called that marrying too far away. The mountain paths twisted endlessly. My plan was to crawl out of the forest before changing shape, but a noisy bird started pestering me. It had sleek black feathers, and I couldn't even tell what species it was. Its cultivation level was weaker than mine. The only trick it had was mimicking a few human words. "Lyra, you're Lyra, right?" it chirped. I denied it, but the bird wouldn't give up. Annoyed, I transformed into human form, grabbed a rock, and hurled it. "I told you I'm not," I growled. The bird twisted midair, dodging easily, then called again, "Lyra, Lyra." I jabbed a finger at it. "Say it once more, and I'll roast you into braised chicken." That finally silenced it. Being human was surprisingly fun. I kept my transformations short to avoid being noticed, but now I could eat anything I wanted. Within a month, I had devoured everything on the local food street. My next plan was to move somewhere new and eat through that town as well. At last, I believed my mom when she said, "You'll never regret cultivating a human form." One morning, I was sipping soy milk while strolling through the market when, Lyra, Lyra. That same bird was circling above me. People overheard and started whispering. "It's been a month, and she still hasn't been found. I bet she's dead." What a pity. That snake was worth 200 grand. I once caught one that looked just like her, but it wasn't. Rich folks are unbelievable. It's just a snake. My chest tightened with guilt. I tried waving the bird away, but it wouldn't stop, just kept circling. Then suddenly I felt my body shift, that familiar pull of reverting to my snake form. Heart racing, I bolted from the crowd and rushed back to my hotel. The second I closed the door, I transformed back. The bird landed on the windowsill, tilting its head at me. I hissed at it through the glass, baring my fangs in warning. Finally, it flew away. After resting for a full day, I finally managed to return to my human form. It had to be, because my cultivation wasn't strong enough. That meant I needed more practice. And since there was no Adrian around to freeload from anymore, I decided to go hunt for a handsome guy instead. I slipped into a bar, the dim lights casting everything in a hazy glow. But no matter how much I looked around, no one here came close to Adrian's looks. My chest tightened. Ugh, I still wanted to rely on Adrian. Forget it. Cultivation had to come first. I clenched my teeth and was about to walk inside when that annoying bird called again. "Lyra, Lyra." I pointed at it. "Keep following me, and I'll turn you into soup." I spun around and smacked right into a solid chest. The man wore a mask and a cap, hiding most of his face. But from his eyes, his build, and the way he dressed, I could tell he was hot. And I could definitely feel his abs. "What are you doing here?" His muffled voice carried through the mask. Something about him felt like Adrian. So I leaned closer and whispered, 500 a night. Interested. His brows shot up. He pointed a finger at me like he was about to have a heart attack. Was that too cheap? I caught his hand and smiled. All right, 1,000 then. The man laughed, half irritated and half amused.
Fine.
1,000 it is. I dragged him back to my hotel. He sat on the bed, arms crossed. So, what do you want to do? I shoved him down and wrestled with his shirt buttons. Damn, things took forever. But once his chest was bare, those abs looked way too familiar. Whatever. Cultivation first. Just as I was about to continue, he grabbed my wrists. In such a rush? Aren't you going to say hello first, Lyra? He chuckled softly, then pulled off his mask. The last words ground out with bite. It was Adrian. I tried to bolt, but he yanked me back. I don't know any Lyra. You've got the wrong person, bro. I insisted. His voice carried raw hurt. You use me, then pretend you don't know me? So cruel, Lyra. Why did you run? Don't you like me? Wasn't I the one you chose? Am I not enough for you? You didn't even give me a chance before cutting me off. That's tyrannical. I struggled harder, but his eyes glistened. Are you scared of me? Why? I finally gave up. Because you were going to send me to the fighting pits. I had to save myself. Adrian froze. When did I ever say that? The pop-up comment said so. That you liked Sophia and planned to throw me into the pits. My voice faltered as I realized I hadn't seen a single comment since regaining my human form. You little liar, he murmured. Adrian, you don't believe me. I pushed away his hand from my hair. He quickly softened. Of course I do. You're my little princess. But shouldn't you trust me too? I gave all those other snakes to John ages ago. Sophia works for him now. I only like you. Only you. But you keep doubting me and running away. Didn't we promise to trust each other? My anger flared again. Then why put a bounty on me? A $200,000 bounty. My relatives all know about it. Adrian sighed. That wasn't a bounty. It was a missing snake notice. With a reward. I froze.
Oh.
But I'm still a snake, so worrying makes sense, right? We're not exactly. He pressed a finger to my lips. That's my line. Lyra, I'm human. Can you accept being with me? I guess I can. Who could say no to a guy with an 8-pack? His confidence returned instantly. Then answer me. Why were you looking for other men? If I don't like your explanation, I'll kiss you to death. His eyes glimmered, lips curling in a wicked smile. Heat flooded my face. Damn it, had becoming human made me even more vulnerable to his charm? Adrian leaned in, his breath tinged with alcohol. But instead of kissing me, he just held my gaze. I was blushing so hard I thought I'd combust. Then, bam, I lost control and shifted into a snake head on a human body. Adrian blinked, half laughing, half crying. This your new escape plan? Kill me with laughter? Mortified, I shrank back. The next second, I lost my torso too, and reverted completely into snake form. He poked my head. Testing me again, my little princess? Hiss hiss hiss, I protested. Exactly. If I don't practice more, I'll stay stuck like this. As if reading my mind, Adrian lifted me against his chest. I don't care. From now on, you cultivate only with me. And you're responsible for me now, Lyra. Hiss hiss hiss. How was I supposed to take responsibility like this? His grin turned wicked as he stroked my scales. The same way you used to bully me. Take responsibility like that. So, he knew all along. We cultivated until dawn, after which Adrian finally pulled me into his arms and fell asleep. That night, I dreamed. In the dream, it was the day I'd run away from home because I couldn't be bothered to cultivate. Adrian was standing by the roadside, directing his men as they unloaded snake terrariums. He was tall, well over 6 feet, wearing a plain white shirt, and his fringe swayed slightly in the breeze. I fell for him at first sight. When I saw him getting ready to leave, I darted over and wrapped myself around his ankle. Where'd this little snake come from? Trying to trick me? He bent down, picked me up, and those sharp eyes softened. That was when I decided he was the one. I coiled around his wrist, flicking my tongue at him in a flattering way. Adrian was completely taken in. You want to come home with me? I rubbed my head against his hand in agreement. And so, he took me home. Because of my rare aquatic blue scales, he named me Lyra. I hadn't expected that, beyond his good looks, he also had an 8-pack and a mansion. I was beyond satisfied, even less motivated to cultivate. Adrian spoiled me endlessly, and my true spoiled nature started showing. He even teased me once. You've developed a real princess temper. Do you even remember how sweet you used to be when you first came to me? I ignored him and curled up on his abs for a nap. He stroked me gently and whispered, "You can always trust me, Lyra." Trust him, not the comments flying across the screen. I'd only been home for a month when Adrian started talking about proposing. He insisted it was the highest human ritual of affection and would even interrupt cultivation at the most crucial moments. Say yes, or I'll stop. My thoughts were wandering. What's the hurry? Once we have the certificate, you can't abandon me again. It's against the law to abandon your spouse. He said it with such gravity that when he started pulling away, I clung to him in panic. I get it, you bully. Taking advantage of me like this. Adrian chuckled, kissing me. You've got it wrong. Right now, you're the one taking advantage of me, wicked little snake. The proposal was set for 2 days later. Adrian was a bundle of nerves, buying a chaotic mix of gifts. It's fine, I told him. We snakes don't bother with so many customs. But he was stubborn.
No.
Whether human or snake, proper etiquette matters. Otherwise, why would your mother trust me with you? It turned out he was right. My usually laid-back mom was dressed up like royalty, looking elegant and refined. The moment Adrian stepped in, she frowned. You actually brought home a human? Didn't I tell you not to marry too far away? You're getting bolder by the day. Before I could react, Adrian placed a Hermes Birkin on the coffee table. Mom, don't worry. I'll take good care of Lyra. My mom's brows shot up. Who said you could call me mom?
Rude.
I know who you are. You're the one who plastered the city with a bounty for our little girl, so she couldn't even come home. Unfazed, Adrian calmly presented a $1 million necklace. Mom, that was a missing person notice. I wasn't hunting her down. I was trying to find her. She was upset with me, and I was worried. From now on, all my salary will go straight to Lyra. I'll listen to her in everything. If she ever suffers under me, you can deal with me however you want. This is just a small token of gratitude. Please accept it. He piled all the gifts in front of her. Her attitude flipped instantly. Oh my, we're family. No need to be so polite. She pulled him to sit beside her. So, when are you two getting married?
Adrian, right?
Thank you for looking after my daughter while she was away. I could only think, this money-grubbing woman. Adrian glanced at me with an amused eyebrow raise. Sweetie, go get Adrian a glass of water, my mom said.
Me? No.
Before she could scold me, Adrian quickly stood. Mom, I'll get it. I love getting water. He was smooth, and my mom was thrilled. And it didn't stop there. Mom, your cooking is amazing. Even better than my company chefs. Mom, let me do the dishes. I love doing dishes. Mom, I got a spare massage chair from work. I'll send it over tomorrow. By the time we left, my mom was chatting with him like he was her long-lost son. Adrian, come visit me when you can. Just have our girl let me know first. I'm not always here. Of course, Mom. I will. Back home, I mimicked her with exaggerated sweetness. Adri, and come visit me whenever you like. After one visit, you're already her biological son. Adrian pounced on me with a laugh. What? You weren't satisfied with my performance. But Mom certainly was. She even gave me this. Which means you'll have to cultivate twice as hard from now on. From nowhere, he produced an old, yellowed notebook. On the cover were 8 bold words. The Sacred Manual of Human, Snake Symbiotic Cultivation. The mere sight of the word cultivation annoyed me. I started slithering toward the far end of the sofa. But Adrian pulled me back by the ankle. With a straight face, he said, We have to try it. Mom said if it doesn't work, she'll go find that Taoist priest and settle accounts. Let's start with Chapter 1 today.